Both raided by the FBI.
Yeah.
Under different, mine was over the president's daughter's diary, yours over, what was it over?
So, I mean, it's complicated for me to try to answer that because when the FBI was raiding us, they basically said there's a financial investigation into some people you work with. And I was like, okay. It wasn't until after they left, I heard the Merrick Garland press release essentially accusing us of trying to subvert the presidential election and being paid propagandists. So I guess what that was all about depends on who you ask. I think it's pretty safe to say that it was politicized regardless, though.
So you believe it to be a politicized prosecution?
Very much so, and you mentioned we have the same lawyer, lovely, expensive fellow. I mean, according to him, usually these indictments around
Jeff Lichtman.
Yeah,
Jeff Lichtman.
I don't know if he wants to be associated
No,
with being my lawyer.
I talked to him before this, and he said it's fine to name him as we were
Okay.
both. He's both. Lichtman was not as expensive as many other lawyers I've worked with.
I mean, there's a very high ceiling for lawyers.
Yeah.
I suppose there are theoretically more expensive lawyers than him.
Yes.
But
yes, but so SDNY indictment on Russian funding influence in the FBI raid. Just to refresh our audience, if we could put up 101 GFX on the screen there. Here we on the screen. If we can put it for the audience, there's the Southern District of New York, United States of
my
America.
good buddies.
What's that?
My good buddies.
Your good buddies. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of dealings with SDNY. Did you see the Matt Tierman video we've dropped?
Yes, I did see that.
He said he went to the SDNY. He wasn't specifically clear about what he ratted on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was about the diary, but that's another story. So this is USA versus two Russians.
Yeah, not me.
And who are these two Russians?
So these are people who worked in conjunction with our company. They were doing social media stuff. There's been a lot of misreporting on this case.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard online that I've been indicted. I had charges. They were dropped.
That's what people might assume, that you were indicted.
Yeah, but I was not indicted.
They were indicted.
Yeah, I've never been indicted, never had charges against me. And I mean, to be clear, our investigation is now closed. I also want to mention that it wasn't the case that, oh, Trump came in and now he's trying to make everything go away because our content was favorable to conservatives. No, this was basically all finished before he even came to office. I also want to make that
So they
clear.
raided you because you had information that could help them in their case against these two Russians?
I would also say no to that. I don't think there's been anything new about the case that wasn't already in the indictment. And what is in there, a lot of it is very misleading. There's some things that are outright false in there. But, I mean, essentially, they had been listening to us for, I would say, years.
Listening to you?
Yeah.
The Southern District of New York, the FBI.
Oh, I mean, the FBI.
And they got secret warrants against you?
Yes, that's right.
Through Google and Apple and all these different companies?
Yes. And it's
Wow.
funny, a few months before this happened, I got a strange login notification from Google that someone was accessing my account from Maryland. And I guess my message to people is that if that ever happens to you, don't just ignore it. It might be the FBI.
Might be the FBI.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, basically, why I mentioned my lawyer is that according to him, these indictments are usually 4 to 5 pages, not 30-some pages, as ours was. And I say ours, again, it's not my indictment, but as the indictment related to our company was. And, since the two people who are actually indicted in this were not in the country, I don't believe that they ever thought that this case would go to trial. I believe that this indictment was essentially a press release of things that they wanted to allege, knowing that they wouldn't actually ever have to prove it in court. And I mean, I'm right. It's never gone to court. And there's, from everything I can tell, our investigation is closed for sure. I don't think they're doing anything with anything else. So it's just kind of there now.
So this is the indictment alleges that RT, Russia Today, secretly funded and helped steer this Tennessee-based company called, what was the name of the company?
Tenet.
Tenant. Who's in charge of Tenant?
Well, I was day-to-day operations with my husband. And what's really frustrating is that basically the allegation is that, there are these Russians who are controlling things. The FBI, like I mentioned, had access to all of our internal communications. They knew exactly how our workflow worked. And our creators had 100% editorial freedom over everything that they put out. We were actually licensing their content. So, I mean, we worked with people like Tim Pool Campbell, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, these people had their own production workflows that we were not involved in at all. We often didn't see the content until they were the ones uploading it. So for this to be spun as somehow this is propaganda, or I've even heard after it was like pretty clear, the creators came out and said we weren't told to say anything. They changed it to they were unwitting propagandists, which as a concept makes no sense. I'm sorry, that doesn't. But
unwitting propagandists.
unwitting propagandists.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they argue that did they argue in this indictment that you knew about, or this indictment against these two Russians, that you knew that you were spreading propaganda?
Well, so it's interesting. If there is this big propaganda operation, you would assume that there's a lot of proof of what the propaganda is, right? Especially since this was a media channel. We're putting out content every day. They should have a wealth of examples to choose from. One of the examples of propaganda was the fact that, do you remember Tucker Carlson did a trip to Russia, and there was this clip
Yes.
that he did where
Yes.
he went to a Russian grocery store, and he was impressed because I think it was cheap and people were putting the grocery carts away. So we shared that clip, and that is in the indictment.
Do we have that picture of that, producer, from the indictment? This is the Tucker
Careful,
Carlson.
you may be sharing
I
propaganda
might be
here.
committing a felony. Let's
Yeah.
play the tape. This is Tucker in Russia.
Standing feature, maybe the longest standing feature of Cold War propaganda in the West, was the Soviet grocery store. No products, no choices, shoddily made things. And it wasn't actually propaganda, it was real. And you can look up the pictures on the internet if you want. So we thought it would be interesting to take a look at a contemporary, modern day, 2024 Russian grocery store 2 years into sanctions. Here we go. All right, there we go. So I guess you put in 10 rubles here, and you get it back when you put
Anyway,
the cart
so this
back.
is a longer clip, but Tucker is kind of taking you through the grocery store, saying this isn't so bad, and this is one of the clips
From
that,
Russia with love.
but this is something
apparently.
Tucker produced.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys distributed or reproduced or disseminated.
So it was going viral, and we were, we would share clips that were getting a lot of attention, as a lot of these other outlets do. This was one of them, and it's funny because as we were going to share it, one of our producers said, like, he's getting kind of flack for this. People are saying he's shilling. Should we still
Right.
share it? And this is like how I know that they were definitely trying to paint us in a certain way. We had internal discussions about it. We agreed that we would share it, but we also, when we did share it, we mentioned that some people are criticizing this as being, I guess, not telling the whole story. What do you think? So we were actually we tried to include that in when we shared it, the fact that there are people who say this isn't representative of Russia, or who feel that he's maybe trying to put a better foot forward than is actually the case with these grocery stores. They didn't include that either. They were just like, nope, they just shared it. They're just trying to propagandize Americans into.
This is from the indictment. This is I can put the screenshot on the screen. On there about February 15th, 2024, a video of well-known U.S. political commentator visiting grocery store. That's Tucker. Who's Afanasvena? What is that?
That's one of the people who's indicted.
Indicted.
Yeah.
Posted the video in the producer Discord channel. What's the producer Discord channel?
So this is, we had an internal company Discord channel. It's basically kind of
Slack.
like Slack.
Slack,
Yeah,
okay.
but not Slack.
It's a different name of
We
it.
would have a channel where people would give pitches, where we would share different clips that were getting a lot of attention. Hey, do we want to share this? Does anyone want to cover this? That type of thing. So we were operating that way for about a year, and this is the story that they chose to highlight as proof of our.
So this is what they say in the indictment. This is the FBI, or the prosecutors in SDNY, and the SDNY is perniciously all about power, as Matt Tiermont said. I agree with him on that. They are really, it's really of a dark kind of place, the SDNY.
It is.
It's not justice-based, it's power and control. But this is what they write, quote, and this is producer 1, privately messaged founder 2. They always use these metonyms instead of your real name. You're founder 1, my assumption is?
Yes, I think
okay.
so.
Founder 2 is your husband?
Yes. Who also, for the record, has never been charged with anything.
Right.
And
I mean,
et cetera.
I was never charged. They raided my home.
Yeah, they don't really care about that. They just want to.
It's kind of wild they raid newsrooms, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, quote, they want me to post this, that's your husband, referencing the video that the Russian had posted. but, quote, it just feels like overt shilling. They're referencing something your husband wrote in the Slack or Discord channel. Now, Founder 2, that's you, replied...
Founder 2 is my husband.
Pardon me. Founder 2 is your husband, replied that Founder 1, that's you, thinks we should put it out there. Producer acquiesced, okay. So they're trying to use this as justification for what? What exactly is the...
That this is a covert propaganda outlet. The fact that we shared this Tucker Carlson clip that we weren't even involved in producing, it was just kind of, it was topical, it was going viral. And again, that's not even the full story. We agreed that we would share it, but also mentioned that there was some controversy over the clip. So we were trying to cover all of our bases and just kind of present it as is.
How much money did these Russian investors give to you guys?
Well, the investors that, I mean, that's this whole thing of who the money supposedly came from. There's stuff in the indictment that I can't verify. That if it's true, which I'm seeing as how they kind of twisted things that I know aren't true, I'm very skeptical of. I'm not taking these people's word on anything. Like, we were working with a French team in terms of the investor side. I spoke French with them. But something else that was reported is the amount. So it was basically in the media made to seem like I personally was getting like millions of dollars, which was not true. They reported our total operating budget as money that was going to me personally, which is not accurate at all.
How much money do you know that you received from the people that sent it?
I think it was about 10 million to cover all of our shows, production, travel for any guests.
10 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, it was. We were working with big talent, and that was the thing. Like, we were in negotiations with these talents for months, and these are numbers that I didn't come up with, basically.
And what did they want in exchange for that 10 million? What's the consideration as part of the deal?
I mean, none. This was basically like an angel
donation.
Investor situation. They had absolutely no say over what.
Did they want an ownership stake in the company, or?
No. And this was basically just, and I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how much I should be talking about people who are not me, and I don't know what their case is right now,
Right.
Jeffrey worked with us on what was going on with us.
Like
so these other people.
Attorney.
Yeah, sorry, the attorney. So, what all the SDNY has or doesn't have on these other people, I'm not sure.
My assumption is, I don't know this, but my assumption is the SDNY has just dropped this entire thing because Trump is the president, and that's what happens. Unfortunately, in our country, justice is downstream from who's in charge, and that's my assumption.
Let's face it, healthcare is a mess. Outrageous premiums, surprise bills, denied claims, and now the rates are climbing again. Medical debt is the #1 cause of bankruptcy, even for people with insurance. That's why I switched to Impact Health Sharing. No networks, no woke nonsense, just real savings and up to 50%. You can pick your doctor, there's no surprise bills, there's 24/7 telehealth, and maternity support. Take control of your healthcare before the system decides for you. Go to impactomg.com, that's impactomg.com, or call 855-378-6777 now. Impact Health Sharing, built differently.